pricing from your friend Jeff Chopinovich. I said it's Chapin. Jeff Chapin. Shop our express store and build your view online at tchvalley.com or call Jeff Chapinopolis. Are you listening to me? It's Chapin. Jeff Chapin. Remember, for your next vehicle, call Jeff Lee. Chapin, find me. You get here, location home in a Honda.
Hi, my name is Dan Pack. I was on my way to work, and the gentleman behind me, his name, Lee, called Morgan Morgan. From that moment on, everything else, Morgan & Morgan took care of. Morgan & Morgan did it all with literally one phone call.
Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. And after 35 years, we now have more.
This is Al Graham with Cape Pixie Radio, the only nuclear-powered radio station on God's green earth. We're at a secret location, broadcasting from inside of a disused nuclear power station, San Onofre. Can't tell you exactly where because it's still hot, which means it'll be many, many years before the water that was used to cool it, contaminated water, will break down, if ever. I don't think it will. There's Al Jack. Watch out for him. He's a character all on his own. You'll see him on the Apple podcast. It's a TV series. It's about a, let's say, a 23rd century intergalactic time traveler, hitman, enforcer for some secret spy agency 100,000 miles out into space. And, well, they've got their own agenda. The Invisible Man is taking a bow tonight. He's with us at the studio. Keep it up. We can't see you. Mick Jagger got kicked out by his wife a long time ago. He's been trying to get rid of him, but he sings all night and it ain't half bad. Well, sometimes it's horrible. We pay a tribute to my local PD here. So there you are. This is the studio of Cape Pixie Radio, only nuclear-powered radio station on God's green earth. Now, all day long, I like to play the pop songs, you know, like from the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Deals on top tech for class, hobbies, and more. Now, when you buy, you support a cause.
And it's a nice thing to be able to do, to kick back and talk about any subject. Oh, shut up. Any subject you want to in your air, because it is your radio station now. It doesn't belong to a corporate network. It doesn't belong to a program manager. It belongs to you because of this iPhone. You can do anything you want. You can create a rock opera in here or a real opera in this phone. The technology is just fabulous. So here we are. I pick a heavy subject tonight because it's heavy on my heart that people are burning down churches and killing people they don't like because of one thing, religion. Let's deal with it head on tonight. First of all, I'm going to give you a little background. Then I'm going to directly talk to the Muslim community. It's, in this case, in Pakistan, where the riots are. Well, the riots are seasonal, and they look like they're spontaneous, but they are not. The people who like to make money of people who conflict, which means let's cause a war over here, sell them a bullet over there, you're going to need this, your airplane, and blah, blah, blah. That's what happens. If there's a conflict, the pimps, the parasites, and the losers of life get in the middle and say, look here, that Muslim said this about you, and that Christian said this about you, and this offended your God. And it's like, okay, all right, let me take you back. Let us review. 12th century. The Pope said to every Christian in Europe, if you go to the Middle East and you kill any Muslim you see, you're going right to heaven. Yeah, I wonder at the time. Well, what happened was this. Every loser in the world first said, whoa, there's a chance to loot and pillage here. Secondly, the fervent ones were really fervent, but they were still about to kill somebody because they killed Jesus. That's what the story was, and that's why the Pope, our Pope, the Catholic Pope, said to his people in Europe, let's go kill them all and let God separate the good from the bad, or whatever. A very cynical move. I don't think at the time even he knew what would be to come. Well, when he sent them, the first thing the Muslims did was they saw him coming, and they hid behind their walls. Yeah, they couldn't get him, so they hid behind. So the frustrated Christians, they went searching for anyone brown who wasn't behind the wall and would kill him. And they found a bunch of Jews, and they killed them. But it just so happens that those Jews had converted to Christianity, so they killed their brothers. And they knew it, but it didn't matter. They said, look, I didn't know. I just killed a brown one. You said I got to go to heaven. All right, first fur, That's the way it went. Now, in some cases, they went to just loot this area. They knew there would be gold in it. So when they got there, all the gold was gone. I wonder where the gold was. They paid someone or bribed someone or tortured someone. And they found out that the women and children had swallowed all of the rings and necklaces and they swallowed them. So the Crusaders literally sliced their bellies and took out the gold while they were still alive half the time. This is the atrocity that occurred because our Pope said, well, let's go kill a couple of Muslims. It can't be that bad. We'll get the, we'll get the blood running. And after all, they did kill Jesus. Did they? No, darling. It was the Romans that put him to death, but it was his own people, the Jews who sold him out. Yes, they said, this boy is knocking over the table in the temple on Sunday or on the Sabbath. What are you doing on the Sabbath in the temple? Money changing? Yes, a sacrilege. But an accepted practice at that time, not to Jesus and his followers. Jesus and his mother were a group so, what shall I say, passionate about their faith that they were as honest as the day long. They didn't believe in blasphemy. They didn't believe in putting money right in the middle of a temple and changing money with everyone else in the world. In fact, it turned into a bazaar. The synagogue was a bazaar. So Jesus went in there one day and he took a whip, according to the story, and whipped them all and knocked over the tables and scattered the money. So they were all scrambling for it. The big fights broke up. And what they don't tell you about that whip is that on the other hand of it, it had a hell of a club. And Jesus took that club to a few of them. I mean, he literally kicked their ass in that temple. So the Jews, the people who were the money changers and the hierarchy of Judaism at the time, under the occupation of the Roman Empire, went to Pontius Pilate and said, look here, this fella is knocking over the tables and we want you to kill him. And Pontius Pilate, even at his trial, said, I find no wrong with this man. He doesn't seem to be doing anything bad. He's just passionate about his faith. And then the Jews said, well, look here. If he keeps doing it on Sunday morning, Sabbath day, and all the money changers get fighting with each other, and we don't know whose money is whose money, as big bitter battles for years later, we're not going to be able to pay the fig. The fig, well, that's the interest. And the Romans charge for everything. When they came, they took over everything. Yes, they brought the aqueduct. Yes, they brought wine. Yes, they brought law and order. Yes, they brought roads. Yes, they did wonderful stuff. But the Jews were still Jews, and the Essenes were still the Essenes, and they will never, the twain shall meet. So the Pharisees sold out. They went with the Romans. They took his coin. They did business under him. They kept it going, and they actually used them as bodyguards of the radicals like Barabbas, who wanted to tear it all down. So in the end, the Romans said, well, look here. I guess they're right. We don't want to do it. But so they took the contract and they offed Jesus on the cross. That's the end of that. So don't blame the Muslims, anybody in the world. Don't blame the Muslims. It was about a year ago that our Pope apologized for that atrocity. And by God, it was an atrocity. So in the end, the Muslims kicked the Christians out. They let them go, actually. They didn't have to, but they knew attrition, the fighting. These people were fervent. They would have fought till the last man. And the art of war tells us, always leave your men a way out. Otherwise, they'll fight 10 times stronger. So the Muslims, being wiser and smarter, let them all go. However, They did not search him, and they took all the gold, the ones they looted from the stomachs of those women and children, and everything else, all the artifacts they could. And the Muslims just let them go and let them take it, and that was the end of that. No. Christianity was stumbling, and people were fighting each other. Yes, about the 12th century. Who's right, who's wrong, and all this. So the Pope decided, well, let's do a little bonding here. We'll get everybody to get into one cause, and by God, he unleashed the hubs of hell on the world, on the Muslim world. So now, that's the reason that the Muslims hate the Christians. On the other hand, the educated Muslim knows this, that the Quran and Allah praise somebody, that these people who are now, today in Pakistan, are burning Christian churches. They are killing Christians because someone told them that the Christians want to kill Muhammad or whatever. They blame them for all of that old horrible stuff they did, and they have a right because it's true. However, this is the real truth. I'll get it. I'm directly talking to you, Mr. Muslim, Mrs. Muslim, the ones of you who are not educated, the ones of you that will kill a Christian on sight because you believe in the propaganda that you've been taught. Well, here's the truth. In your Quran, there's a man named Muhammad, your prophet, one of a long line of prophets, by the way. He was the 10th. Now, before all of this went down, the Bible was telling people to kill the infidel, to slaughter the infidel, the one who did not believe in Jesus. And so this bad blood is 2,000 years old. Now comes the very truth. The name Muhammad is mentioned twice in the Quran. Another name is Ahmed, which is a derivation of Muhammad, so I'm sure it's the same. He is mentioned 3 times. The reason the Quran is so popular in the Muslim world is because it was written in one of the most beautiful dialects, I think from the 7th or 8th century. It's called Mumma, or some word very similar to that. And it rolls off your tongue as surely as the Irish poet or the Irish balladeer. Literally gentle, sweet, and so pleasing to the ear that you are lulled into this sense of, God, this is beautiful poetry. Yeah. There's another character mentioned in the Quran. Assalamu alaikum. Praise to be to Allah. His name was not important right now, but what he did was really important. He said, neither borrow nor lend a be. There should only be one God. Do unto others. All of the tenets that in the Quran about decency to each other, so on and so forth, came from a single man who is mentioned 78 times in your Quran by Allah and by your prophet, revered by the Muslims of that time because of this. He was a Christian, yes. His name was Jesus Christ. They thought of him as a prophet. I'll take that. He said one God. Even they can't say there's more than one God because they believe that. Well, we believe that too. And my dear Muslim brother, my dear Muslim sister, I am your family. You are my family. We are good men and good women together. We take care of our kids. We don't get into too much debt. We don't drink alcohol. We don't drink tobacco. Listen, the similar things of a good Christian man are the same as a good Muslim man. So let us not confuse. Let us not say, oh, the Christians are all bad. They were, and some of them still believe. Now, in these days, the Muslims are easily rioted They are easily stampeded into somebody's insulted someone, so therefore we'll burn all the Christians out and get rid of them forever. Well, you're burning yourself out because I am you and you are me and we are all together, as the song goes. So I say this to you. The next time someone tells you, kill a Christian, and you'll go to, oh, by the way, the parallel is stunning. Because now the radical Muslim says, if you kill a Christian or you kill the infidel, you can have 7 virgins when you get to heaven, or 11 virgins, or whatever. I heard one of the terrorists in Afghanistan once saying, yes, if I kill the infidel, I get whatever I want. Woman, 7 women, all the best food, young boy, if I want, everything, anything I can have. And I went, okay. He was sold a bill of goods, wasn't he? So you get to heaven, and you're all pure on this earth, but when you get to heaven, you can have 7 different women, virgins. Why is that? Oh, why is that? Because they're pure. And now you're going to take purity and have an orgy in your heaven? I don't think so. So look closely in the mirror, my dear Muslim friend, and ask yourself this question. Am I killing them, or am I killing myself? Or am I killing both of us? Both of us is the answer, because when you blow up the Christian church, you blow up the Christian. And when you blow up the Christian, you blow up the radical Christian, which makes it more and more and more and more inevitable that there will always be blow-ups. I say to you, stop it. I say to you, reach across to your Christian brother, like I have many beautiful Muslim people, friends, dear friends. I would trust my life in their hands. And yet, I know so many radical ones who would just say, all Christians are bad, like Christians say, all Muslims are bad. They have young wives at 14, and it's like, there's a reason for that if you want to know the truth, if you can take it. Back in those days, women lived till they were 22 and 23. Some of them, yes, sir. Yes, they died early. And that's the reason for mating early. They had a chance to have a child. It was not pedophile going after young children. This is the perversion. This is the perversion that the Mormons did. Same thing, anyone takes a religion and bends it round to their way, well, God will get you. And if God doesn't get you, I will get your ass on, excuse me for my vulgarity, I will call you out. I will tell you this. There is no such thing as a Muslim killing a Christian. There is no such thing as a Christian killing a Muslim. But there is, what I mean is there should not be. Get a hold of yourself. Take a look in the mirror. When you killed him, you killed you. And if you kill something in yourself by killing someone else, it's just as bad as dying, because you lose your real feelings and you get pent up into this rage and anger and bloodlust. Yes, bloodlust. You are lusting after death. You belong to a cult of death. Those of you Muslims who want to kill Christians and other Muslims who don't believe you, you are in a cult of death. And at some point, you will be consumed by your own fire, or hoisted on your own petard, as we say in England. So, listen, everybody. Put down your weapons. Put down your hatred. Go out and care for your brother Christian and care for your brother Muslim, and you'll find the world will be happy. And the bullet makers and the bomb makers will say, wait a moment, you can't do that. We've got a business here in this conflict. Stop it. And we'll say, no, no, no. Everybody hold hands and tell them to go away, because we're all going to laugh and sing and dance, and we're not going to kill each other anymore, because it's a game. It's a game of, oh, you're going to need an awful lot of bullets if you're going to kill an awful lot of Christians, and vice versa. Well, guess what? Come you masters of war, you that build the big bombs, you that build the death planes, you to build all the guns. It's a song by Bobby Dylan called Masters of War. And those people are gleeful whenever a riot breaks out because they've got a contract to send in security. They've got a contract to sell arms. They got it. So guess who's wagging the tail? Is it the dog or is the tail wagging the dog? Well, here you have it. That's my rant. I say to you tonight, God bless you, my Muslim brother. God bless you, my Muslim sister. Do not kill Christians. Do not burn down mosques, churches. I saw the destruction today. I was ashamed. I have a vested interest. I have an orphanage in Pakistan. Beautiful people struggling with their lives, leaving their children in the street because they got addicted to heroin. We take them in, as many as we can, and we feed them, and we clothe them, and we send them to school, and we plan for their future. They're already, these children I've been working with for 1 year, are all set on a goal. They're all moral. They all look after each other. I see the older boy, the older girl caring for the little young ones. It's just the most... Anyway, I'm going to put some footage of my orphanage up there. And I'm going to tell you once again, come on, everybody. Let's love one another. Try to love one another. Remember that song? Come on, people. Count on your brother. Everybody get together. Try to love one another right now. Right now. Anyway, here I am. It's midnight. I'm broadcasting all over the world on Apple. I'm in my studio, surrounded by the things of delight. I even got a bloody cold beer. Those of you who are offended, Muslim or Christian, that I'm drinking this beer, I am sorry, but I am unadulterated truth. And there you have it. God bless America and all who sail in her. I should end by saying Assalamu alaikum to Allah, who I deeply respect, I think of every day. I pray to Allah as much as I pray to my Father in heaven. I say, Allah, tell your people to let my people go. Stop it. Work with each other. Show everybody in the world that we can do this. We could do something that everybody thinks is impossible. Oh, impossible, eh? Nothing is impossible. Nothing. There's a great phrase in the Middle East. It goes like this. It is written, which means no matter what, it was already written. Whatever happened, happened. And there's a character called Lawrence of Arabia. If you ever saw that movie, he went out into the desert to save one of his servants, his helpers, on a camel. And he found him wandering in the desert, and he got him, he brought him back, and all of the others were waiting for him to come back. And when he came back, the leader said, truly, for some men, nothing is written. Because that's what Lawrence of Arabia said. It is not so, you cannot go out there, it is written. His death is already imminent. He turns on him and goes, nothing is written. Nothing is written. He went out determined to find that young man. He got him. He brought him home. Died tragically later, but that's another story. We are one. There is but one God on this earth. Take a look around you. Look at your jungle. Look at your plants. Look at your bananas. Look at your apples. Look at all the bounty that your God in heaven left for you. He even made the bitter fruit bitter so you wouldn't eat it. He made the sweet fruit sweet so you would eat it. He left you the knowledge of how to do. He left you alone, and look what you did. It's mostly good, but a lot of bad too. Don't forget that. We are not all good. We are part good, and every day we strive to be better. So, if you're thinking of killing my Christian brethren in Pakistan, think this. God will get you. God will get you. one way or the other. Your whole pipe dream of getting to heaven because you killed somebody. I laugh at this philosophy. I say this one more time. We are one. We are one. The world is one people. We all suffer. We all stagger under the weight. But there's a great Irish ballad that goes something like this. Don't give up till it's over. Don't give in if you can. The weight on your shoulders will make you a stronger man or a woman. Don't give up till it's over. Don't give in if you can. The weight upon your shoulders will make you a stronger woman, man and woman. Don't give up till it's over. When will you know it's over? When it's over. Al Graham for the K-Pixie Radio signing off tonight. Thank you very much for tolerating me and not calling the mental health and having them do a welfare check on me, because I'm all right. I'm in my world. God bless America everywhere I look. God bless my friends that I love. God bless some of the people who are so generous that they're embarrassed if you give them a compliment. They just don't want a compliment. They want to see you do some good. And this person I'm thinking about does good when they are sleeping. That's how good they are. Good night, America. It would be remiss if I didn't sing a song before. And I know some of you want me to end this, but I'm not. I'm going to sing a song. Riding on the city of New Orleans, Illinois Central, Monday morning rail, 15 cars and 15 restless riders, 3 conductors and 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, the train pulls out of Kankakee and rolls along past the houses, farms, and fields. Boxcars filled with old black men. Anyway, it's a beautiful song, but it's about America at a rough time. The people were hungry, and they were starving, but they got through it, and they persevered. Lincoln said to the Indians once, "Endeavor to persevere." Persevere. One of the last verses of a song I wrote called, well, I'll just sing the last verse and you'll know it. Here's the chorus. I heard a baby crying and some children singing. I saw a little boy who could not see. I watched a big man praying. To God I heard him saying, I'm done with life, oh set me free. Oh set me free. When you rent a room from Satan, the floor is always burning, and he has the other set of keys. Your life is all on fire, a raging funeral pyre, and up to now you still don't see. You still don't see. You had a wild one last night, you smoked a pipe of bad dreams, and now you're in the burning rain. There's someone bigger watching. All your life he's been there waiting, and all you got to do is call his name. Call his name. I heard a baby crying, saw a sad girl walking, a silver sign read not for me. When she got down to the water, her barbed wire tears were legion, and now she's crying in the sea. She's crying in the sea. And I thank you.